In 1875, a swarm of insects blotted out the sun over the American West. The Rocky Mountain locust plague stretched for 1,800 miles. It contained an estimated 3.5 trillion of these insects. They consumed everything in their path. Fields of crops disappeared in hours, devastating human agriculture and pushing pioneer settlements to the brink of starvation. But the strange truth is that the locust doesn't actually exist as an independent species. It is a temporary biological phase. The creature responsible for this destruction is the exact same animal as the solitary, harmless grasshopper you might find sitting on the leaf in your backyard garden. So how exactly does a quiet, leaf-eating herbivore physically rewire itself to become a collective, swarming plague that threatens human civilization? To understand the swarm, we have to look at the baseline solitary grasshopper. Dating back 250 million years to the early Triassic period, they are biological survivors with highly unconventional anatomy. Look at this diagram of a grasshopper's anatomy. They don't have ears on their heads. Instead, they hear through tympanal organs, simple eardrums located on the first segment of the abdomen, tucked away under the wings. In the wild, they face intense pressure from predators and parasites. This includes parasitic worms that can hack the grasshopper's brain, forcing it to leap into water and drown. Surviving in this environment requires a flawless escape mechanism. Their primary defense is the catapult jump. Biological muscle cannot contract with high force and high velocity at the same time, so grasshoppers use a mechanical trick to bypass this physical limitation. Inside the leg, the flexor and extensor muscles pull against each other, keeping the leg folded while mechanical force builds. This distorts the cuticle, storing elastic energy like a bow. The flexor relaxes, releasing energy instantly, snapping the leg straight. These specialized mechanics keep the individual grasshopper alive against daily threats. Yet this exact anatomical design is what leaves them vulnerable to extreme environmental shifts. When severe drought hits an area, vegetation dies off. This forces normally solitary grasshoppers to crowd together into whatever small patches of greenery remain. In these cramped spaces, their powerful hind legs repeatedly brush against one another. That specific tactile stimulation is the mechanical trigger for the phase shift. This physical bumping causes a massive spike in the neurotransmitter serotonin. Serotonin is a chemical messenger in the brain that carries signals between nerve cells. That surge of serotonin alters the expression of the grasshopper's DNA. Within hours, the insect physically transforms, shifting from a camouflaged green to bright warning colors. Their behavior completely flips. They begin consuming significantly more food, and their breeding rates drastically accelerate. The transformed insects then start emitting specific pheromones, chemical signals that attract even more grasshoppers to the group, creating a runaway feedback loop. Through a simple cascade of crowding, touch, and chemical reprogramming, the solitary jumping herbivore is overridden. It has shifted into a locust. Once triggered, dense, nomadic bands of flightless nymphs march across the landscape. As they mature and grow wings, they form massive flying plagues that rapidly move with the wind across the sky. An adult desert locust eats its entire body weight in plant material every single day. A mature swarm will rapidly strip entire regions of stems, bark, and foliage. Ancient empires also routinely documented this devastation. The Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses II compared the scale of his enemy armies to the sheer multitude of a locust plague. While historically these plagues caused unavoidable famines, modern science has developed biological countermeasures. Researchers now use entomopathogenic fungi, which are specialized parasites that naturally infect and kill insects. One specific fungus, Metarhizium acridum, is deployed over affected regions. It organically breaks down the grasshopper swarms without the need for broad-spectrum chemical pesticides. By understanding the underlying biology, humanity has moved from being helpless victims to actively managing the grasshopper's phase shift before it destroys a harvest. Researchers are now taking this a step further by hacking the grasshopper's baseline sensory biology for human use. In a recent experiment at Washington University, researchers outfitted solitary grasshoppers with lightweight electronic sensor backpacks. This diagram shows how the hardware integrates with the insect. The backpack taps directly into the electrical activity of the grasshopper's antennal lobes, the part of their brain dedicated to processing complex smells. By recording and transmitting those neural signals to a computer, the researchers created living, cyborg bomb sniffers capable of accurately detecting high concentrations of explosives. The grasshopper is an ancient, highly engineered survivor. Today, that anatomy holds the power to sniff out our modern weapons, or if the environmental conditions trigger a phase shift, to become a biological force capable of erasing entire harvests.